I played one of the Three Kings at primary school when I was in the top class with two of the school friends, and enjoyed it. It was in St Helens Parish Church in Tarpley, and you know, it was nice to get an acting role outside school, because I liked the idea of drama even at that age. So it was a nice part to play as well. And Epiphany, especially the Feast of Epiphany, which we're still just about in when I recorded this video, is all about the wonder and awe of the magi. So we associate the carol We Three Kings, but also we associate it with Epiphany. And this is also the birthday, along with many other people, of the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, and it's also the birthday of a spiritual rather than religious person called Alan Watts, who a lot of us will know, and he, as I say, was spiritual rather than religious. He was born in Chislehurst, Kent in 1915, and being a Capricorn, he reminded me of my late partner, who was a bit of a wild man of the woods, even though they were of totally different backgrounds. Vince being of gypsy heritage, but he westernized the ancient discipline of Zen Buddhism, and from there a lot of the mindfulness concepts, which were brought back into play by John Kabat-Zinn, have been popularized. I like the integral psychology of Ken Wilber myself, and I've become less jaded because it's brought me holistically back to the soul and core, which I once held in high esteem. So it's kind of thought, I kind of think to myself, oh, I was right all along here about my outlook on the world, and about my self-focus, because I was beginning to feel a bit jaded and lose my sense of childhood wonder. And I was thinking, like, crystals, angels, oh yeah, I've done that, been there. But now they're renewed and fresh to me as I learn more about them, and I can take an interest in everything and not get stuck in a rut about the same philosophical concept. I don't labour the point that my ideas are free-flowing as they were when I was a small kid, you know, and I can get really in the zone about them. And I find that quite amazing, that our souls are already fully integrated in childhood, and when we mature, we lose that sense of wonder, and we lose some of our soul and spirit, even though the mind is still working overtime. So once we integrate the soul and the spirit, we lose that sense of fear, we gain more courage, and we become more authentic, and we're not frightened to air our views. Also, the concept of non-duality, which some of my friends on Facebook adhere to, which is a grand idea. It stops people being aware of difference so much, and to be honest, I've always accepted people for what they are, regardless of their gender. So once you forget about gender difference and forget about any unconscious gender bias, which, you know, being if you were brought up in my family, you didn't really have that. As I've explained on one of my Facebook posts, people were people, and you know, personality mattered rather than gender or anything else really, and it didn't need to be spoken about. But nowadays you find, I don't know for sure, I'm not going to place an opinion on it, but do any of you think that other women can contribute to gender bias against themselves, and do you think that, to be honest, that back in the days of my late teenage years, early adulthood, I didn't really notice any gender bias or sexism or anything like that, but it's come back to the fore lately, and it was something that we'd overcome in the earlier part of the last century really. We were starting to overcome this, even though pay is still unequal, but now it seems to come back to the fore, and I'm just thinking that not all men are gender biased. So, because my dad certainly wasn't, so, but some people tend to dominate, but they can be the same kind of narcissistic personality regardless of whether they're men or women. That's what I think on the matter. But I'm just thinking, I don't know whether it's right to say that my own sex contribute towards some degree of gender bias or hero worship, the opposite sex. I don't know whether they do or they don't. It doesn't really matter, because to me, once I accessed the transpersonal, I felt at one with nature, and I feel that every being is integral and holistic, and there is that concept of non-duality which I had in childhood. So I was lucky to have an extended family, and they were all people, and they were all different. We were all as one, but they were all different as individuals. So transpersonal psychology talks about individuation. So that's it really. So I just like to round off 12th night, as we've just gone past the hour of midnight, with one of my favourite carols, We Three Kings. Hence me having being an early child, being a sort of mid-childhood star at that time, following a star. We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again, king forever, ceasing never, over us all to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh, King forever, ceasing never, over us all to reign. O star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Myrrh is mine, its bitter perfume breathes a life of gathering gloom, sorrowing, sighing, bleeding, dying, sealed in the stone-cold tomb. O star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Glorious now, behold him arise, King and God and sacrifice. Alleluia, and since alleluia the earth replies. O star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. 'Tis a bit misty today, isn't it? Or has been, and still is. Very foggy, I'd say, and cold, but most I noticed the fog. By the way, I played Casper when I was 11 at primary school, and we, as I say, it was held in Tarpley Parish Church, and I brought frankincense, so I'd actually recite the words more or less of the third verse,